Most people think fat loss requires endless workouts or extreme dieting, but what if I told you there's a simple habit, something you already do every day that could unlock a hidden fat burning switch in your body? The truth is, walking, when done the right way, isn't just movement. It's a science-backed strategy to accelerate fat loss, balance your hormones, and even reset your metabolism. And the secret isn't how far you walk, it's how you do it. Most of us think of walking as too easy to make a real difference. If you ask someone how to lose weight, they'll likely point to running, spinning, or some intense cardio class. Walking feels too simple, almost like it doesn't count. That's why so many people overlook it as a fat-burning tool. But here's the truth: the body doesn't just burn calories all in the same way. It has different energy systems, and when you understand how those systems work, you realize walking can actually unlock fat loss in a way traditional cardio often can't. Think about what happens during high-intensity exercise. You push your body hard, your heart rate spikes, and your muscles demand immediate energy. Where does that energy come from? Primarily from glucose. Your body pulls sugar from your bloodstream or stored glycogen in your muscles to keep up with that demand. And yes, you may burn a lot of calories in that moment, but most of them are sugar calories. When the workout ends, hunger often goes up, cravings hit, and many people find themselves refueling with more carbs than they burned off. It creates this cycle where you're exercising hard but not really tapping into fat stores. Walking, when done in a slow and steady way, taps into a different energy system. At a lower intensity, the body doesn't need quick glucose. Instead, it has time to pull energy from fat. This is called the aerobic energy system, and it's designed for endurance and sustainability. It's almost like you're giving your body permission to burn fat because you're not stressing it into the sugar burning mode. That's why walking can be so powerful. It's a direct line to fat as fuel, especially when you stay consistent. I had a woman in my community who shared her story with me. She was doing everything right, or so she thought. She went to the gym 6 days a week, spent hours on the treadmill and in spin classes, but her weight wasn't moving. She felt frustrated, tired, and stuck. When we looked closer, her cortisol levels were sky high from all the intensity. Her body wasn't in fat burning mode, it was in survival mode. I encouraged her to pull back, to swap some of those long sessions for daily walking at a comfortable pace. At first, she thought it sounded too easy, like she wasn't doing enough. But within a few weeks, she noticed her energy stabilizing, her sleep improving, and the scale finally starting to move. What shifted wasn't the number of calories she burned, it was the fuel her body was choosing. She started burning fat instead of just sugar. Walking is also easier on the nervous system. Instead of spiking cortisol like intense exercise can, walking lowers it. When cortisol is high, the body holds onto belly fat, especially around the midsection. By lowering stress hormones through walking, you open the door for fat-burning hormones to do their job. And because walking doesn't leave you drained or starving, it's sustainable. You don't finish a walk feeling like you need to raid the kitchen. You finish feeling calm, steady, and energized. Another reason walking works so well is because it's repeatable. You can do it every day without overtraining. The body thrives on that consistency. Unlike a high-intensity class you might need to recover from, walking can be layered into your life multiple times a day. After meals, during breaks, even while on the phone. Every time you do, you nudge your metabolism gently toward fat burning. So while most people overlook walking as too easy, it's actually working with your biology in a very specific way. Traditional cardio burns sugar, walking burns fat. Traditional cardio can increase hunger and stress. Walking balances hormones and stabilizes energy. And the best part is, you don't have to push your body to exhaustion to see results. You simply have to step into a rhythm that allows your body to do what it's designed to do. Use fat as fuel. When most people think about exercise and hormones, they imagine intense workouts being the only way to create change. But what often gets missed is how something as simple as walking can completely reset your hormonal landscape. Hormones are the silent directors behind whether you burn fat or store it, whether you feel energized or drained, and even whether you crave sugar late at night or not. Walking works with those hormones in a way that feels almost invisible, but the effects are powerful once you understand how it's happening inside your body. Cortisol is the first hormone that comes to mind. It's your main stress hormone, designed to help you get through challenging moments. A little cortisol is necessary, but the problem is that in today's world, most of us live with it chronically elevated. Long work days, constant notifications, skipping meals, late nights, all of that keeps cortisol high. And when cortisol stays elevated, the body does something very specific. It stores fat, especially around the belly. This is why so many people find themselves stuck with stubborn abdominal fat, no matter how hard they diet or exercise. The magic of walking is that it actually lowers cortisol. A short walk outdoors or even a lap around the office sends a calming signal through your nervous system. Your breathing steadies, your muscles release tension, and your brain perceives safety. In response, cortisol drops. With lower cortisol, the body no longer feels the need to hold on to fat for protection, especially in the midsection. Insulin is another hormone that plays a massive role in fat loss. Every time you eat, insulin rises to help move sugar from your blood into your cells. But if insulin is constantly elevated, the body can't burn fat. It's locked into storage mode. This is where walking becomes a secret weapon. After a meal, blood sugar naturally rises, and so does insulin. But even a 10 or 15-minute walk right after eating changes the entire process. Your muscles pull glucose out of the bloodstream for energy as you move, which keeps insulin levels from spiking too high. Over time, this improves insulin sensitivity, meaning your body uses insulin more efficiently and has an easier time burning fat between meals. Imagine finishing dinner and instead of sinking into the couch, you take a gentle stroll. That simple act changes whether your body stores the food you just ate as fat or uses it effectively for energy. Then there's the influence on fat-burning hormones like growth hormone and adiponectin. Growth hormone is often thought of as the hormone of youth. It helps you repair, recover, and mobilize fat for fuel. Intense exercise can spike it, but walking sustains it without creating stress. Adiponectin, another hormone, specifically tells your body to use fat as energy. Studies show that consistent walking increases adiponectin levels, which means your body is more willing to reach into its fat stores when it needs fuel. Instead of relying on quick sugar, you're training your body to prefer fat. Think about a typical stressful workday. You're at your desk, deadlines are piling up. Maybe you've skipped lunch or grabbed something sugary to keep going. By late afternoon, your cortisol is high, your blood sugar has spiked and crashed, and cravings for more sugar start to take over. This is the perfect moment to step away and walk. 10 minutes around the block resets your nervous system, brings cortisol down, and clears excess glucose from your bloodstream. By the time you return, your cravings have eased, your mind feels sharper, and you've shifted your hormones back toward balance. That's not willpower at work, it's physiology. Or think about nighttime cravings. Many people find themselves raiding the kitchen after dinner, even when they're not truly hungry. Part of this is hormonal. If insulin spiked too high earlier, blood sugar may drop quickly, triggering the brain to look for more food. A short walk after dinner prevents that roller coaster, keeping blood sugar steady and insulin balanced. Instead of feeling driven to snack late into the evening, you feel satisfied and calm, which supports better sleep. And when sleep is deeper, growth hormone rises naturally overnight, amplifying the fat burning process while you rest. What makes walking unique is that it doesn't fight your hormones, it harmonizes them. It lowers the hormones that block fat burning and boosts the ones that open the door to it. And you don't need hours of effort to see change. You need small, intentional moments throughout your day that keep your body in a state of hormonal balance. When you learn to pair walking with the rhythms of your life, after stressful meetings, following meals, or as a wind down before bed, you begin to shift the entire way your body uses food and stores fat. There's a fascinating truth about walking that most people don't realize. The pace you choose completely changes what kind of fuel your body uses. Too often, when people decide to walk for exercise, they think faster is better. They push their speed, pump their arms, and try to break a sweat as if they're running without running. But here's the catch. When you walk too fast, your body shifts gears into sugar burning mode. That means instead of drawing on fat stores, you're pulling energy from glucose, and that limits the fat loss potential. The secret is finding what I call the zone of walking, a rhythm where your body feels comfortable enough to stay in fat burning mode, but active enough to keep metabolism engaged. Inside the body, this zone reflects how your cells make energy. At a lower, steady intensity, your mitochondria have the time they need to break down fat for fuel. This process is slower, but it's sustainable. The moment intensity rises too high, the body doesn't have the luxury of time anymore. It needs quick energy, and that means tapping into glucose. It feels like you're working harder. But the truth is you've stepped away from fat burning and back into sugar dependence. That's why people often finish a brisk power walk feeling exhausted and hungry. They burned calories, yes, but they weren't the calories they hoped to target. The zone of walking feels very different. It's that sweet spot where you could walk for a long time without needing to stop and without feeling out of breath. You might feel your muscles working, your heart rate slightly elevated, but you're not straining. One of the simplest ways to test if you're in this zone is what I call the talk test. If you can carry on a conversation comfortably while walking, you're in the right place. If you're huffing and puffing, struggling to get words out, you've pushed too far into sugar burning. This test works because it reflects how much oxygen your body is using. Fat burning requires oxygen. If you can talk, it means oxygen is plentiful enough for your mitochondria to keep pulling fat as fuel. Another practical tool is using your heart rate. For many people, fat burning mode happens at around 60 to 70% of their maximum heart rate. While that number is different for everyone, the sensation is the same: steady effort without strain. Imagine walking as if you were heading to meet a friend, not rushing to catch a bus. That relaxed but purposeful rhythm is where your body feels safe enough to lean on fat rather than glucose. I once had a client who was determined to lose weight, so every morning she power walked around her neighborhood. She came back sweating, her legs sore, but she couldn't understand why the fat wasn't coming off. When we looked closer, we realized she was always walking at a near jog pace, keeping her body in constant sugar, burning mode. I suggested she slow down just enough so she could chat with her walking partner without catching her breath. At first, she worried it would be less effective because it felt too easy. But within weeks, her clothes started fitting differently, her hunger throughout the day calmed down, and she noticed steady fat loss without the exhaustion. What changed wasn't the amount of walking she did, but the zone she walked in. Consistency is what turns this zone into a fat-burning strategy. It's not about pushing harder on one walk and then recovering for days. It's about showing up regularly, staying in that comfortable rhythm, and teaching your body that fat is the preferred source of energy. Over time, your metabolism adapts. Mitochondria become more efficient, insulin sensitivity improves, and fat storage begins to decrease. This doesn't happen from one intense session. It happens from repeated signals to the body that it can safely burn fat without stress. What's so empowering about the zone of walking is that it's accessible to everyone. You don't need special equipment. You don't need to track every step, and you don't need to push yourself into discomfort. You simply need to find that pace where your body feels energized but not overworked. When you get there, you're no longer fighting biology, you're working with it, and that's when walking becomes one of the most effective fat-burning practices you can build into your life. One of the biggest misconceptions about fat loss is that it requires carving out hours of your day for structured workouts. This belief leaves many people feeling discouraged because life is already busy enough. But the truth is, walking doesn't have to be an extra task you add on top of your routine. It can be woven into the rhythm of your day so naturally that it doesn't feel like exercise at all. And when you start layering these little choices, they add up to a powerful metabolic shift where your body begins to prefer fat as fuel. Think about something as simple as where you park your car. Most of us circle the lot searching for the closest spot, trying to save time or effort. But if you intentionally park farther away, those extra steps aren't just filler. They're an invitation for your metabolism to stay active. Each time you walk a little longer, you're signaling to your body that it doesn't need to store energy, it can use it. Those small bursts of low-intensity movement help keep insulin low and fat burning turned on. Over weeks and months, what feels like nothing special becomes part of the reason your body leans out more easily. Another opportunity hides in something we all do every day: talk on the phone. Instead of sitting at your desk or lounging on the couch during a call, try walking while you talk. It doesn't need to be fast, it doesn't need to be structured. You could pace around your office, stroll through your backyard, or wander around the block. The beauty of walking during phone calls is that it stacks fat, burning time into moments that already exist in your life. A 20-minute catch up with a friend or family member suddenly becomes 20 minutes of metabolic activation without you even noticing. Evening strolls after meals are one of the most underestimated habits for fat loss. In many cultures, walking after dinner is a tradition, and there's a reason for that. When you move after eating, your muscles help clear glucose from your bloodstream, which keeps insulin levels stable. Instead of food being stored as fat, it's used efficiently as energy. This means you not only avoid the late-night sugar crash, but also improve your body's ability to burn fat while you sleep. Imagine finishing your last bite, stepping outside for a short walk, and knowing that those minutes are actively changing the way your body processes food. Over time, that simple shift makes a noticeable difference in belly fat and cravings. Walking can even transform your social life. Instead of meeting a friend for coffee and sitting for an hour, suggest grabbing that coffee to go and walking while you catch up. The conversation flows the same, but your body is doing something entirely different. Instead of storing energy while sitting, you're burning it while moving. This small adjustment creates a lifestyle where walking is no longer something you have to think about. It's simply part of how you connect with people. And then there are those in-between moments throughout the day that most of us overlook. Waiting for your kids to finish practice, standing around at appointments, or taking a short break between tasks. These are perfect chances to sneak in movement. Even 5 minutes of walking at a time tells your body to shift away from storage and into usage. It doesn't feel like exercise, but your metabolism is responding to every step. The reason these little choices matter so much is because fat burning isn't about intensity. It's about frequency. The more often you give your body opportunities to move at a gentle, steady pace, the more it begins to rely on fat as fuel. This retrains your metabolism. Instead of holding on to fat for emergencies, your body learns that fat is safe to use daily. Over time, energy feels steadier, cravings fade, and stubborn fat that used to cling to your waistline begins to release. When you stop looking at walking as something separate from your life and start seeing it as part of how you live, everything changes. You're no longer waiting for the perfect time to exercise. You're stacking small, intentional movements into your everyday routine. And while each choice may seem small in the moment, Together, they create a lifestyle where fat burning happens naturally and consistently. When most people think about walking, they see it as a tool for burning calories or maybe just as a way to stay active. But the truth runs so much deeper. Walking is about teaching your body how to use energy more intelligently, not just about losing weight. It's about shifting your entire metabolism so that it works with you instead of against you. And when you approach walking consistently and intentionally, you begin to transform your body's relationship with energy in ways that ripple into every area of your health. At the heart of this transformation are your mitochondria, the tiny energy factories inside each of your cells. These are what decide whether you feel vibrant and alive or sluggish and depleted. When you walk at a steady, consistent pace, you're giving your mitochondria a chance to grow stronger. Scientists call this mitochondrial biogenesis. It's the process of building new, healthier mitochondria. More mitochondria mean more capacity to burn fat for fuel, more endurance in your daily life, and more resilience against the stresses that drain your body. Instead of always relying on quick sugar bursts, your cells become skilled at tapping into fat stores, giving you stable, long-lasting energy. But the benefits of walking aren't limited to the body. The brain thrives on it too. Each time you move, circulation improves, blood flow increases, and oxygen delivery to your brain ramps up. This is why a simple walk can clear mental fog or spark creativity. It isn't just a nice feeling, it's biology. Walking stimulates the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, a protein that helps grow new brain cells and strengthen neural connections. That's why some of your best ideas may come to you while you're walking. You're not only burning fat, you're literally upgrading your brain's ability to think, focus, and adapt. Mood also shifts dramatically with consistent walking. Stressful days can leave you feeling drained, anxious, or irritable, and many people turn to food for comfort in those moments. But walking naturally releases endorphins and helps balance neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. These are the same chemicals that regulate mood, cravings, and motivation. The more consistently you walk, the more you stabilize these systems, making it easier to break free from the cycle of stress eating and emotional crashes. Instead of relying on willpower, your body is wired into a calmer, more balanced state. Resilience is another overlooked gift of walking. The world we live in is full of stressors, emotional, physical, and even environmental. A resilient body isn't one that never encounters stress, but one that knows how to handle it without breaking down. Walking strengthens that adaptability. It lowers chronic inflammation, regulates blood pressure, and supports immune function. Over time, this makes your body more flexible, more capable of bouncing back, and more efficient at managing daily challenges. You don't just feel healthier, you become harder to break down. This is why it's so important to shift the way we think about walking. It's not about perfection, and it's not about counting steps just for the sake of numbers. It's about intention. When you walk with the awareness that each step is fueling your mitochondria, calming your nervous system, strengthening your brain, and teaching your body to burn fat, those steps become more powerful. A 10-minute walk isn't just 10 minutes. It's a signal you're sending to your body about how you want it to operate. Every step you take is a message to your biology. The message is that you don't have to stay stuck in sugar burning mode. You don't have to feel drained, foggy, or frustrated by stubborn fat. You have a tool available to you right now that can change how your body uses energy, how your brain thinks, and how your mood stabilizes. And the best part is it doesn't require a gym equipment or hours of your time. It requires intention and consistency. When walking becomes part of your lifestyle, it's no longer just movement, it's transformation.